how crazy is it how like the fentanyl these days is mixed with trank, or it's trank? Have you heard of that?
What's trank?
I can't believe you haven't heard of this. Trank with a Q. So trank is fentanyl mixed with a horse tranquilizer. So the horse tranquilizer makes the fentanyl last much longer, is my understanding. Jamie's probably looking it up right now. But the trank is a horse tranquilizer. They mix it with fentanyl, I think, to make it last longer and make it more powerful. And the fucked up thing is it's so toxic, they all inject it. It's so toxic that it's so poisonous in your body that your body's trying to get rid of it. So it creates these massive sores where the drug is trying to get out.
I saw that in Russia.
Yeah, and people it's here now, dude, big time. People are getting sepsis and having to get their limbs amputated. It's really, really gnarly.
Go back to that article that you were just posting.
DA message about it.
Okay,
xylazine.
Xylazine is making the deadliest drug threat in our country that our country has ever faced. Fentanyl even deadlier, said Administrator Milgram. DEA seized xylazine and fentanyl mixtures in 48 of 50 states. The DEA laboratory system is reporting that in 2022, approximately 23% of fentanyl powder and 7% of fentanyl pills seized by the DEA contain xylazine. Fuck.
Yeah, I have a weird, I don't know if obsession's the right word, but I like watching like drug documentaries and like interviews with like drug addicts and like, DEA agents, like all that kind of stuff is just kind of fascinating to me because I don't have a drug problem, and it's just interesting to me how people like will choose to go down that road over and over and over, even though it just seems like the worst thing ever. But the addicts, when they talk about being on fentanyl, they'll choose the xylazine now with the fentanyl because it's much better. And they know they're going to die from it like really soon, and they keep choosing it. It's pretty wild. And if you're a heroin addict, you can't even find heroin these days. You can't get heroin. It's all fentanyl.
Really?
Yeah. I've had a few different friends die from fentanyl. They thought they were buying a baggie of cocaine and partying, and just dropped dead.
Yeah, well, that happened to a group of comedians in L.A. recently.
It's so messed up.
It's fucking horrible. And it's the number one killer, I think, of people in like 18 to 49.
Yeah.
Something nuts like that. It's like 100,000 people a year dying of overdoses.
What do you think about parents sending test kits with kids to go to parties so they can test the drugs?
Well, it's certainly better than not testing it and taking it.
Right.
Obviously, the best thing would be to don't take any drugs. But, especially when kids are drinking, you're fucking, all your judgment goes out the window. You're not thinking straight. You're drunk. And then someone offers Coke and there's peer pressure. And you're like, I'll try it. And then next thing you know, you're dead. If there was a method of testing, and I know they use that a lot at raves, because that was one of the issues at raves, was that people were buying MDMA, and that was laced with fentanyl.
For sure.
They would wind up overdosing with that.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary shit, man. Also, parents are sending their kids Narcan or Narcan.
Narcan
to help them survive an overdose.
Well, and to help other people.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of kids in Portland are being trained and sending their kids to school with Narcan, and they're trained to give Narcan to heroin addicts or to fentanyl addicts, which is crazy. That's the other thing they say in those documentaries. They always interview the addicts and they say, how many times have you they say, have you OD'd before? And they're all like, yeah, of course. And they're like, how many times? And they all say countless. They don't know. Imagine ODing so many times where you literally do not know how many times it's been, and then going straight back and getting high again, like with a needle.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's a real crisis.
Yeah, it really is a crisis. I mean, you have kids. I have kids, so these are things that are like totally on the front burner for me. Like, to me, I'm never sending my kids to a party with test kits. That's not like, I feel like talking to them from a super young age, totally having super transparent heart-to-heart talks with them about friends that I've had that thought they were getting one drug and it was laced with this shit that is completely deadly and dropping dead. Just drugs are different, man. They're not how it was when we were kids. When we were kids, like, people would experiment. It was completely normal. Like, I feel like those days are over in some aspects,
For sure.